Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Beth. And today I'm working in cute critters. Just a little playtime. Just some random owl colors. Alright, I am going to tell you the story of the day I saw the snake. Now, little bit of background. I was about 10 years old and I was riding my bike, which at the time was pretty standard. I had a banana seat, so I was one of the cool kids. And I was riding to the city park. It was a very, very good city park. And as far as I know, it's still there. It was huge. It had picnic tables, barbecue pits, play equipment. It had a walking, a hiking section where you went up into the mountains, literally up into the mountains with little trails. It was nice. Oh, and it even had a zoo. I mean, it was a little podunk, no account zoo, but it had one. And it was a pretty nice park. So it was maybe 2-3 miles away from my home. No big deal. I mean, for a kid, a bike is pretty much the same thing as a car for a teenager. You just go anywhere. And I decided to go to the park and see if anybody that I knew was hanging out. There wasn't. I took a look around, decided, no, nothing's happening here. And then I noticed something that I had never noticed before. And that was that the gravel parking lot wasn't only a parking lot. It was a road. And this road went back up into the mountains. It was the foothills. And I was like, oh, hello. What have we got here? So I started going along this gravel road. And it was a proper road. It was like 8 feet across, okay? I figured it was for maybe fire trucks or utility trucks, something like that. And it was at a pretty good slant. I would say maybe 45 degrees. It was decent. So I was power pedaling up that road. And you know what power pedaling is, right? It's when you stand up and you put all your weight on one side, push down the pedal, then switch to the other side, and you kind of go side to side as you're doing it, and you use every bit of strength you got. Generally, when I power pedaled, I kept an eye on my front tire, because if you got it caught in a pothole or a groove in the road, oh, you were in trouble, because man, it would just pitch you right out. So I was keeping an eye on it. Came around a corner, and for some reason I looked up and away from my tire and came to a screeching halt. I mean, literally. I didn't have a 10-speed, so I didn't have a handbrake. What you do when you brake on those old bikes is you pedal backwards. And it stops the chain and it locks the back tire. Generally what you do is you just kind of ease on, just like, when you're tapping your brake real gentle to come to a slow rolling, easy stop. I didn't do that. I pulled down and I slammed on those brakes. And my back tires skidded out from under me And I slammed my foot down so that I wouldn't fall over. Because in the road was a snake. Now, I'm not telling you this because I happened to find a rattlesnake or a milk snake or any of those other kind that you generally would find here and there. This was a proper snake. I could not see the beginning of the snake, and I couldn't see the end of the snake, but it was traveling that entire 8 feet of road. All of it. I was gobsmacked. And looking at it, it was a dark green color with gold banding on it. Super long, clearly over 8 feet. Way over 8 feet. And it didn't move like any snake I'd ever seen before. Every snake I'd ever seen before either did that sidewinder thing, okay, or it did like a rattlesnake, where it just does this. No, this thing, it was moving by stretching. It was going one over, meet up, one over, meet up. It was the trippiest thing I'd ever seen. And I wanted to touch this thing so bad. Oh my gosh. I was like, okay. But you know what? I was 10 years old, but I was not flippin' stupid. I backed away from that little bad boy, turned my bike around, and ran for it. I didn't tell anybody about that snake because they would have said something along the lines of, you know what, that's really dangerous in there. You can't go in down that road anymore. And so there was just some things adults didn't need to know about, okay? That's all. They just don't need to know about it. So I didn't tell them about it. Now, I got to thinking about that snake the other day, and I didn't know what kind it was. I had no idea. So the other day I looked it up. And there is a surprisingly short list of snakes that are over 8 feet. When I saw it, I thought boa, because honestly, that's the only really big snake I knew of. But, So anyway, the thing that has the environment it was in, rocky, grassy scrub brush, that it was dark green with gold banding, that it was over 8 feet, and that it moved in a straight line by opening and closing its muscles. And I was like, what is it? Now, I'll tell you what. Pause this video and take a guess and down in the comments what kind of snake you think this might have been. I'll give you a minute. Okay, you made your guess? It was a Burmese python. It was a flippin' Burmese python, okay? Now, these were going crazy out in Florida because people were releasing their pets, and I think exotic shop had been destroyed in a hurricane, and a whole bunch of snakes got away. But where I lived, which I'm not going to say, but let's just say where I lived, this is not a common thing to have around. It was a Burmese python. Take it out. This is the color that it was. This is kind of how long it was. Mine might have been longer. They say they go up to 16 feet. And there was one instance of someone saying they'd seen one that was 25 feet. Wouldn't doubt it, but this thing was, I'm guessing it was 16 feet easily, all right? Because I was not seeing that whole snake. it moved, you know, by squeezing and opening its ribs like a centipede or something. And this thing was this big. I'm not kidding you. This was not a skinny snake. This thing was like this big. If I'd hit that thing, that would have hurt. That would have really hurt. But luckily, I didn't. Now, if I'd been stupid enough to try and touch that snake, I may not be here to speak to you about it now. In fact, they probably would never have discovered what happened to me. They would have found my bike on that trail and think I'd been kidnapped or something. That was a girthy snake. Thinking about it now, I saw that thing. It would have been sometime in the summertime, because I was out during the day. I wasn't in school. And the way snakes are, if it was a female snake, she could have been gravid, which might explain the amount of girth on this girl. Okay, she was a thick girl. And the thought of however many eggs she would have laid running around, oh man, that's actually kind of scary, because damn, she was big. So, that's it. That is the story of the day I discovered, or I saw close up and personal, a Burmese python. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!